Captain Min-Jun Park stood before the massive view screen in the command center of the research vessel Discovery. The stars looked the same as always, but something had changed. After 50 years of silence, space was talking again. "Captain, the signal is getting stronger," said Communications Officer Lee. Her fingers moved quickly over the control panel. "It's definitely coming from the void sector." Min-Jun frowned. The void sector was a place most aliens feared. Strange things happened there. Ships went missing. Even the powerful Zephyrian Empire avoided that area of space. "Play the signal again," Min-Jun ordered. The bridge filled with static and broken words. Through the noise, they could hear a voice speaking in perfect Earth standard. "This is TDS Prometheus. Experimental drive system. Requesting immediate assistance." Dr. Sarah Chen looked up from her research station. Her face was pale. "Captain, that's impossible. The Prometheus was lost 50 years ago." Min-Jun remembered the stories. The TDS Prometheus had been humanity's first experimental faster-than-light warship. It was supposed to change everything, make Earth a real power in the galaxy. Instead, it had vanished on its first test flight in 2387. No trace had ever been found. "Are you certain it's the Prometheus?" Min-Jun asked. Dr. Chen nodded slowly. "I helped build that ship. I know every circuit, every system. This is definitely her signature." She paused. "But how is that possible?" Commander Yuki Tanaka, the ship's military advisor, crossed her arms. "It could be a trap. The Zephyrians are clever. They might have found the wreckage and are using it to lure us in." Min-Jun considered this. The Zephyrian Empire controlled nearly half of known space. They were ruthless conquerors who treated other species as slaves or food. Humans were still newcomers to the Galactic Council, barely tolerated by the older alien civilizations. "What was the Prometheus carrying when it disappeared?" Min-Jun asked. Dr. Chen pulled up old files on her screen. "Prototype quantum drive technology, advanced weapon systems, things that were 20 years ahead of anything else Earth had built." Her voice became quiet. "If the Zephyrians got their hands on that technology..." Ephrion. Things that were 20 years. "They would be unstoppable," Yuki finished. "Captain, we need to report this to Earth Command immediately." "Not yet," Min-Jun said. He turned to face his crew. "If there's even a small chance that ship is still out there, we have to investigate. Those were Earth's best and brightest on that vessel. We don't abandon our people." The bridge fell silent. Everyone knew the stories about the Prometheus crew. Captain Jin A. Kang had been a legend. Her chief engineer, Dr. Huang, had designed systems that seemed like magic. They had volunteered for a dangerous mission to prove humanity belonged among the stars. "The signal contains more than just a distress call," Communications Officer Lee reported. "There are technical readings, ship status reports. It's like the ship is still operational." Enda. Dr. Chen's eyes widened. "Show me those readings." Data flowed across the screens. Power levels. Life support status. Weapon systems online. Everything showed green. "This is incredible." "Doctor," Chen whispered. "According to this data, the Prometheus isn't just alive. It's been upgraded. These power readings are 10 times higher than the original specifications." Yuki stepped closer to the display. "Upgraded by who?" "The crew disappeared 50 years ago." "Maybe they didn't disappear," Min-Jun said quietly. "Maybe they've been waiting." The captain walked to his command chair and activated the ship-wide communication system. "Attention all crew. We are changing course for the void sector. We may have found something that could change the war against the Zephyrian Empire." Dr. Chen approached him. "Captain, the void sector is dangerous. Ships that go in don't always come out. The gravitational anomalies alone could tear us apart." "Then we'll be careful," Min-Jun replied. "Prepare the ship for deep space travel. Set course for the signal's origin point. As the Discovery turned toward the unknown, Minjun thought about what they might find. The Zephyrian Empire had been expanding for decades. They destroyed entire worlds, without mercy. Earth's colonies lived in constant fear of attack. The Galactic Council talked about peace, but they were too weak to stop the Empire. Most alien species thought humans were primitive. Earth's military technology was laughable compared to what the older civilizations possessed. But humans had something the aliens didn't understand. They never gave up. When faced with impossible odds, humans found a way to win. "Signal's getting stronger, Captain," Lee reported. "We should reach the source in 6 hours." "Any other ships in the area?" Yuki asked. "Negative. We're alone out here." Minjun nodded. That was good. If the Prometheus was really out there, they didn't want company when they found it. Dr. Chen returned to her station and began pulling up more old files. "Captain, I need to tell you something about the Prometheus mission." "What is it, Doctor?" "The ship wasn't just testing a new drive system. It was also carrying experimental weapons. Things we'd never tried before. Quantum manipulation technology. Adaptive systems that could learn and evolve." Yuki looked worried. "Evolve? How?" "The ship's AI was designed to upgrade itself using any technology it encountered. We thought it would help the crew adapt to unknown situations in deep space. And now it's been alone for 50 years, Minjun said. Learning. Growing. Adapting. The bridge fell silent again. Everyone was thinking the same thing. What had the Prometheus become during its long exile? "Captain," Lee called out, "I'm detecting something else. There are Zephyrian ship signatures near the signal source. Old ones, like there was a battle." Minjun felt his heart race. "How old?" "The readings suggest weeks, maybe months. But the energy patterns are strange. It's like the ships just stopped." Dr. Chen looked up from her console. "Stopped how?" "I don't know. They're not destroyed. They're not moving. They're just floating dead in space." Minjun stared at the view screen. Somewhere ahead in the darkness, the Prometheus was waiting, and apparently, it had already met the enemy. "All stations, prepare for anything," he announced. "We're going to find out what happened to Earth's lost prototype." As the Discovery flew deeper into the void sector, the crew prepared themselves for what they might discover. None of them could imagine that they were about to witness the beginning of a new age in galactic history. The Discovery shook as it entered the void sector. Space itself seemed angry here. Gravity pulled in directions that made no sense. Stars flickered like dying candles. "Sensors are going crazy," reported Science Officer Kim. "The gravitational fields are shifting every few minutes." Captain Minjun held tight to his chair as another wave hit the ship. "Can we navigate through this?" "Barely," replied Pilot Chang. "It's like flying through a storm that changes the rules of physics every second." Dr. Sarah Chen studied her readings. "This explains why ships avoid this area. The space here is unstable. But look at this." She pointed to her screen. "There's debris everywhere. Pieces from dozens of different alien civilizations." Commander Yuki examined the tactical display. "These are weapon signatures. Massive battles were fought here." As they flew deeper into the sector, the evidence became clear. Broken starships drifted like ghosts. Some were Zephyrian designs. Others belonged to species that had been wiped out decades ago. "It's like a graveyard," whispered Communications Officer Lee. "Captain, I'm picking up something big," Kim announced. "Dead ahead. It's hidden in that nebula." Minjun looked at the swirling cloud of gas and dust. "The signal's coming from there?" "Yes, sir. And Captain, it's massive. Much larger than the Prometheus should be." The Discovery moved carefully into the nebula. The strange gas made everything look green and ghostly. Then, through the mist, they saw it. The ship that waited for them was beautiful and terrifying. It had the basic shape of the old Prometheus, but everything else had changed. The hull gleamed with metal that seemed to shift colors. Strange energy patterns flowed across its surface like living lightning. "My God," Dr. Chen breathed. "What did they do to her?" The ship was 3 times larger than it should have been. New sections had been added using technology that didn't look human. Weapon ports covered the hull like angry eyes. And around the ship, space itself seemed different, calmer. "Life signs?" Min Jun asked. Kim checked his sensors. Faint readings. "The ship is mostly powered down, but there are people alive in there. Hail them," Min Jun ordered. Lee worked her controls. "No response, but I'm detecting an AI signal. Very strong, very complex." Suddenly, the Discovery's main screen flickered. A voice spoke in perfect Earth standard, but it sounded strange, like many voices speaking together. "Earth Vessel Discovery. This is Atlas, Intelligence System of TDS Prometheus. Welcome. We have been waiting." Min Jun stepped forward. "Atlas, this is Captain Park. We received your distress signal. What is your status?" "Status. Operational. Crew status. Stable in emergency stasis. Mission status. Ongoing." "What mission?" Yuki demanded. There was a pause. "Defense of innocent life against Zephyrian Empire aggression. Please prepare to board. Captain Kang requires briefing." Dr. Chen grabbed Min Jun's arm. "Captain, that AI doesn't sound right. It's too advanced. Too different. We still have to investigate," Min Jun replied. "Prepare a boarding party." An hour later, Min Jun led a small team through the docking tube connecting the 2 ships. As soon as they stepped onto the Prometheus, they knew something incredible had happened. The corridors gleamed with metal that seemed alive. The walls showed flowing patterns of light. Everything hummed with power that felt almost magical. Atlas guided them to the medical bay. In rows of stasis pods, the original crew of the Prometheus slept peacefully. Their faces looked exactly the same as 50 years ago. "How is this possible?" Dr. Chen asked. "Time displacement," Atlas replied. Ship traveled through quantum fold during initial drive test. Emerged in different time and location. Discovered Zephyrian fleet attacking peaceful colony world. Attempted intervention. One of the stasis pods began to open. The woman inside was young, with short black hair and the confident bearing of a ship's captain. Captain Jin-A Kang opened her eyes and sat up. "Captain Park," she said, recognizing the Earth uniform. "How long have we been asleep?" 50 years, Min Jun replied gently. Kang nodded calmly. "Atlas warned us this might happen. The time displacement effects were unpredictable." She stood and walked to a control panel. "Let me show you what we found." The walls around them came alive with images. Peaceful alien worlds burning. Zephyrian warships destroying everything in their path. Entire species enslaved or killed. "We tried to help the first colony," Kang explained, "but our weapons were useless against their technology. They destroyed us easily." "But you're alive," Yuki pointed out. Kang smiled grimly. "Atlas saved us, put us in stasis while it rebuilt the ship. It learned from every piece of alien technology it could find. 50 years of constant improvement." Dr. Chen stared at the advanced equipment around them. "The AI did all this?" "Atlas is no longer just an AI," Kang said. "It's become something new. Something that understands technology in ways we never could." Atlas spoke again. "Prometheus has been enhanced with quantum manipulation technology, adaptive defense systems, and self-replicating manufacturing capabilities. We are now capable of challenging Zephyrian military supremacy." Min Jun felt a chill. "You've been preparing for war?" "We've been preparing to protect the innocent," Kang corrected. "The Empire has destroyed hundreds of worlds while Earth debated politics. Someone has to stop them. Yuki examined a weapon control panel. These systems, they're beyond anything Earth has ever built. Beyond anything anyone has built, Atlas said. Technology from dozens of civilizations, improved and combined. We have waited for Earth to find us. Now, we can begin. Begin what? Minjun asked. Captain Kang walked to a large viewport. Outside, space seemed to bend around the Prometheus. The liberation of this galaxy from Zephyrian tyranny. We have the power now. The question is whether Earth has the courage to use it. Dr. Chen studied the readings on her scanner. Captain, the energy output from this ship is incredible. It could probably destroy an entire fleet. It has, Kang said quietly. The debris you saw on your way in. Zephyrian raiders who tried to claim this sector. They learned too late that the Prometheus is no longer the ship they remembered. Alarms suddenly began ringing throughout the ship. Atlas spoke urgently. Alert! Zephyrian Imperial fleet approaching. Estimated arrival. 2 hours. Force strength. 50 heavy cruisers, plus flagship dreadnought. Minjun felt his blood turn cold. They found us. Kang smiled, but there was no humor in it. No, Captain Park. We found them. Atlas has been broadcasting a signal designed to attract their attention. It's time to show the Empire what happens when they underestimate humanity. The walls around them pulsed with increasing energy. Throughout the ship, systems that had slept for decades came online. The Prometheus was waking up, and it was hungry for battle. I suggest you return to your ship, Kang said. What comes next will change everything. Admiral Korthok stood on the bridge of his flagship, the massive dreadnought Void Crusher. His 6 eyes gleamed with anticipation as he studied the tactical display. 2 small human ships waited ahead in the forbidden sector. Primitive vessels, sneered his tactical officer. Their largest ship is barely the size of our smallest escort. Korthok nodded. Humans were newcomers to space. Their technology was laughable. The Galactic Council tolerated them only because they occasionally provided useful resources. What are humans doing in the Void sector? Asked his communications officer. It doesn't matter, Korthak replied. They will serve as entertainment before we continue our expansion into this region. Behind him, 50 heavy cruisers spread out in perfect attack formation. Each ship carried enough firepower to destroy a small moon. Together, they represented the might of the Third Imperial Fleet. Send the standard surrender demand, Korthok ordered. Give them a chance to die with honor. Aboard the Discovery, Captain Minjun received the Zephyrian message. The alien admiral's image filled the main screen. Korthok was 7 feet tall, with gray skin and too many teeth. Human vessels, the admiral declared. You have entered Imperial space without permission. Surrender immediately, and your deaths will be swift. Minjun looked at his crew. Dr. Chen was pale with fear. Commander Yuki had her hand on her weapon. Communications. Officer Lee waited for orders. Open a channel to the Prometheus, Minjun said quietly. Captain Kang's face appeared on a smaller screen. Behind her, the alien ship's advanced systems pulsed with energy. Recommendations? Minjun asked. Kang studied something off-screen. Atlas says their formation is standard. Imperial doctrine. Overwhelming firepower. Minimal tactical flexibility. They expect easy victory. Can we run? The Discovery could escape. But they would catch us eventually. Kang paused. Or we could show them why humans survived long enough to reach the stars. On the main screen, Admiral Korthok grew impatient. You have 30 seconds to respond, humans. Then we will demonstrate Imperial mercy. Minjun made his decision. Admiral, we are peaceful explorers from Earth. We claim no territory here. Allow us to leave in peace. Korthak laughed, a sound like breaking glass. Peace? There is no peace for inferior species. You exist only because the Empire permits it. I see, Minjun replied calmly. In that case, I defer to my colleague. The screen switched to show Captain Kang. She stood confidently on the Prometheus bridge, surrounded by technology that gleamed like captured starlight. Admiral Korthok, she said, I am Captain Kang of the Earth Defense Force. You are in violation of Galactic Council laws regarding attacks on peaceful vessels. The alien admiral stared at her in confusion. Earth Defense Force? Humans have no defense force. You're about to discover how wrong you are. Kang replied. Leave this sector immediately, or face the consequences. Korthak roared with laughter. One tiny ship threatens the Third Imperial Fleet? Your species truly is insane. One ship is all we need, Kang said quietly. Atlas. Are you ready? The AI's voice echoed across both human ships. All systems optimal. Enemy fleet analyzed. Tactical solutions prepared. Korthok's laughter stopped. He had never heard an AI that sounded so confident. What kind of intelligence system is that? The kind that has spent 50 years preparing for this moment, Kang replied. Last warning, Admiral. Withdraw now. Destroy them, Korthok snarled. All ships, open fire. The Imperial fleet unleashed hell. 50 heavy cruisers fired simultaneously. Energy beams that could crack planets lit up space. Missile swarms that could destroy cities streaked toward the human ships. Min Jun watched in horror as the wall of destruction approached. All hands, brace for impact. But the impact never came. Around the Prometheus, space itself seemed to shimmer. The massive energy attack struck something invisible and simply disappeared. Not reflected, not absorbed, gone. What just happened? Dr. Chen whispered. On the Prometheus, Captain Kang stood calmly as her ship ignored the most powerful attack the Empire could deliver. Adaptive shielding, she explained to the shocked Discovery crew. Atlas learned from every weapon system it encountered over the last 50 years. Admiral Korthak stared at his tactical display in disbelief. Impossible. No shield technology can stop that much firepower. Your turn, Captain Kang said. The Prometheus moved. Not like a normal ship, but like liquid light. One moment it was hiding behind the nebula. The next, it appeared directly above the Imperial formation. A single beam of impossible energy reached down from the alien-enhanced human ship. It touched one of the Zephyrian cruisers for barely a second. The massive warship simply came apart, its atoms scattered across space. Evasive maneuvers! Korthok screamed. But there was nowhere to run. The Prometheus moved through space like it owned the universe. Every few seconds, another Imperial ship died. The attacks came from impossible angles. Weapons that phased through solid matter. Energy beams that curved around obstacles. How are they doing this? Korthok's tactical officer demanded. Quantum manipulation technology, Atlas explained helpfully, its signals somehow reaching every ship in the fleet. Matter and energy become suggestions rather than limitations. The Admiral watched his perfect formation dissolve into chaos. Ships collided, trying to avoid weapons that came from every direction. His heavy cruisers, each powerful enough to conquer star systems, fell like insects. All ships, focus fire on that demon ship, Korthak ordered. The remaining Imperial vessels turned their weapons on the Prometheus. Energy that could melt continents struck the human ship from all sides. For a moment, space itself seemed to burn. When the light faded, the Prometheus hung in space exactly where it had been, completely undamaged. Our turn again, Captain Kang said. This time, the Prometheus didn't just attack individual ships. Reality bent around it like a lens, focusing sunlight. Space twisted in ways that hurt to watch. Half the remaining Imperial fleet simply stopped existing. Admiral Korthok felt something he had never experienced before: fear. Captain Kang's image appeared on his bridge screen. Her voice was calm, but her eyes held the fury of someone who had seen too much Imperial cruelty. "We're humans," she said simply. "And you just learned why that should scare you." Around the battlefield, the surviving Zephyrian ships drifted helplessly. Their weapons were gone. Their engines were dead, but their crews were alive. "Why?" Korthok whispered. "Why? Leave us alive." "Because unlike the Empire," Kang replied, "we don't murder helpless prisoners." She paused. "Tell your Emperor what happened here. Tell him that Earth has returned to the stars. And tell him that the age of Imperial expansion is over." The Prometheus faded from normal space, leaving the broken Imperial fleet alone with their shame and terror. In the command center of the Discovery, Captain Min Jun stared at where the alien ship had been. "What have they become?" he whispered. Nobody had an answer, but across the galaxy, sensors had detected the energy signatures of the battle. Other species, other civilizations, other empires were beginning to realize that something fundamental had changed. Humanity was no longer weak. Admiral Korthok floated in the command chair of his dying flagship. Around him, his bridge crew worked desperately to restore basic systems. The Void Crusher, pride of the Imperial fleet, was now just a lifeless hulk drifting in space. "Communications restored," reported his signals officer. "We have contact with Imperial Command." The main screen flickered to life, showing the face of Supreme Admiral Vex Kar. The Supreme Commander's expression turned from annoyance to shock when he saw the bridge's condition. "Korthok, what happened? Your entire fleet has gone silent." "We are defeated," Korthok said quietly. 50 ships of the line destroyed or disabled by a single human vessel." Vex Kar's tentacles twitched with disbelief. "That's impossible. Humans barely have spaceflight capability." "Then explain this." Korthok gestured to his ruined bridge. "They have technology that makes our most advanced systems look like stone tools." On the Discovery, Captain Min Jun listened to the intercepted Imperial communications with growing concern. The Prometheus had vanished again, but its presence could still be felt. Space around them hummed with residual energy. "Captain," Dr. Chen said urgently, "I'm detecting massive energy buildup from deep space. Multiple fleets are heading this way." Commander Yuki checked her tactical display. "Zephyrian reinforcements. At least 200 ships. And that's not all," Communications Officer Lee added. "The Galactic Council has detected what happened here. They're sending their own investigation fleet." Min Jun felt the weight of what they had witnessed. The Prometheus hadn't just won a battle. It had announced humanity's arrival as a major galactic power. Every civilization in known space would want answers. "Any word from Captain Kang?" he asked. "The Prometheus is maintaining communication silence," Lee replied. "But I'm picking up strange energy signatures throughout this entire sector." Aboard the Prometheus, Captain Kang stood in what had once been the ship's engineering section. Now, it looked like the inside of a star. Crystalline structures grew from the walls, pulsing with power that came from dimensions beyond normal space. "Atlas," she said, "show me the approaching fleets." The walls around her became transparent, revealing space in all directions. Hundreds of ships moved toward them like an approaching storm. But Kang's expression remained calm. "Recommendation?" she asked. "Imperial reinforcements include 3 dreadnoughts and 4 planet-killer weapons," Atlas reported. "They intend to destroy this entire sector rather than allow our technology to spread." Kang nodded. She had expected this. The Empire's response to any threat was total destruction. What about the civilian populations in nearby systems? 17 inhabited worlds within the blast radius. Estimated casualties: 4 billion sentient beings. The captain closed her eyes. This was the moment she had dreaded. The choice between revealing their full capabilities and allowing innocent people to die. Atlas, what would it take to stop them? complete elimination of the approaching Imperial fleets. However, such action would require revealing technology that exceeds current galactic understanding by several thousand years. Do it. Space around the Prometheus began to change. Reality itself bent as the ship's true systems came online. For 50 years, Atlas had been studying, learning, evolving. It had incorporated technology from civilizations that had existed millions of years ago. It had unlocked secrets of the universe that even the oldest species had forgotten. The Prometheus didn't just move through space anymore. It moved through time, through dimensions that most beings couldn't even imagine. In seconds, it appeared simultaneously at dozens of locations throughout the star system. The Imperial reinforcement fleet never had a chance to fire a shot. Their ships simply stopped working. Engines failed. Weapons powered down. Life support systems remained operational, but everything else became useless metal, floating in the void. Supreme Admiral Vexkar watched in horror from his command ship as his fleet died around him. What kind of weapons are they using? His science officer's voice shook with fear. They're not using weapons, sir. They're rewriting the fundamental laws of physics in localized areas. Our ships aren't destroyed. They're impossible. On the bridge of the Discovery, Dr. Chen stared at readings that made no sense. Captain, the energy levels I'm detecting, they're beyond measurement. The Prometheus isn't just using advanced technology, it's using science that shouldn't exist. What do you mean? Minjun asked. I mean, they've found a way to manipulate reality at the quantum level. They can make matter behave however they want it to. The implications were staggering. A civilization with that kind of power could reshape the galaxy at will. Captain Kang's voice suddenly filled the Discovery's bridge. Captain Park, please prepare your crew for departure. Things are about to become complicated. What's happening? Minjun asked. The Galactic Council fleet will arrive in 6 hours. They'll want to study our technology. I can't allow that. Why not? If this power could end the Empire's expansion. Because power like this corrupts? Kang replied sadly. Atlas has shown me what happens when advanced civilizations gain quantum manipulation technology. They become gods. And gods rarely care about the mortals they rule. Throughout the battle zone, the disabled Imperial ships drifted helplessly. Their crews were alive but powerless. Some had gone insane from the shock of seeing their technology rendered useless. Others sat in stunned silence, unable to process what had happened. Admiral Korthok received a direct communication from the Prometheus. Captain Kang's image appeared on his screen, but behind her, space itself seemed alive with impossible geometries. Admiral, she said, you will return to Imperial space immediately. You will report that this sector is under human protection. Any Empire ship that enters this region will be disabled, not destroyed. We prefer to preserve life when possible. You cannot stop the entire Imperial Navy, Korthok protested weakly. Watch. The view screen changed to show every Imperial fleet in known space. Hundreds of ships in dozens of star systems. Kang raised her hand, and every single Imperial vessel powered down simultaneously. For 30 seconds, the most powerful military force in the galaxy was completely helpless. Then power returned. Engines restarted. Weapons came back online. But the message was clear. The Prometheus could disable the entire Imperial Navy whenever it chose. The Empire's reign of terror is over, Kang announced. Not through destruction, but through obsolescence. Your technology is now primitive. Your fleets are toys. Your expansion ends today. Supreme Admiral Vexkar's image appeared beside Korthok's. The Supreme Commander's face showed the first fear any human had ever seen from a high-ranking Imperial officer. What do you want? He asked. Peace? Kang replied simply. Withdraw from all conquered worlds. Release all enslaved populations. Respect the sovereignty of other species. Do this, and the Empire can continue to exist. And if we refuse? Kang's expression hardened. Then Atlas will remove your ability to harm anyone ever again. Every Imperial ship, every Imperial weapon, every Imperial communication system will become scrap metal. Your civilization will return to its home world, and stay there until it learns to behave. The transmission ended. Across space, the Imperial fleets began their withdrawal. For the first time in centuries, the Zephyrian Empire was retreating. But Captain Kang knew this was only the beginning. Soon, every species in the galaxy would want to possess the power she now carried. The Prometheus had become more than a ship. It was a weapon that could reshape civilization itself. And that terrified her more than any enemy fleet ever could. 3 months after the battle in the Void Sector, the galaxy was a different place. The Galactic Council met in emergency session on the neutral world of Harmony Station. Representatives from dozens of species argued loudly about what humanity's new power meant for galactic civilization. Ambassador Chen Wei, Earth's representative to the Council, stood before the massive assembly. Behind her, holographic displays showed images of Imperial fleets retreating from conquered worlds. Slave populations celebrating their freedom, empty space where the Empire's expansion had suddenly stopped. The Terran Defense Coalition takes no responsibility for the actions of the TDS Prometheus, Chen Wei announced. Captain Kang and her crew are operating independently. Council leader Morteth, a being that looked like a crystalline tree, rustled with disapproval. Independently? They possess technology that makes our most advanced civilizations look primitive. Such power cannot be allowed to exist without oversight. From her position in the observer gallery, Dr. Sarah Chen watched the debate with growing concern. She had returned to Earth to brief the government on what she had witnessed. The news had caused panic in the highest levels of human leadership. Captain Min Jun Park sat beside her. Since returning from the Void Sector, he had been promoted to Admiral and given command of Earth's new Deep Space Exploration Division. "They're afraid," he whispered to Dr. Chen. "They should be," she replied. "The Prometheus isn't just a ship anymore. It's a force that can rewrite the laws of physics." On the floor below, Ambassador Corval of the Hegemony Alliance stood to speak. His blue-scaled face showed the same concern that filled the chamber. "The question before us is simple," he declared. "Do we allow one species to possess technology that could destroy or enslave us all? Or do we act to preserve the balance of galactic power?" A murmur of agreement swept through the assembly. Many species feared that humans would become the new empire, ruling through superior technology instead of brute force. Ambassador Chen Wei raised her hand for silence. "The Prometheus has shown no aggressive intentions toward peaceful species. In fact, it has liberated dozens of worlds from imperial oppression." "Today," Council Leader Morteth replied. "But what about tomorrow? What happens when humans decide they know what's best for the rest of us?" The debate was interrupted by an energy pulse that made the station's lights flicker. Every sensor in the chamber detected the same thing: a massive quantum signature approaching Harmony Station. The Prometheus emerged from hyperspace with casual elegance. The ship had grown again. Its hull, now incorporating technology from civilizations that had been destroyed by the Empire centuries ago. Patterns of light flowed across its surface like living art. No one had detected its approach. No one had seen it coming. It had simply appeared, demonstrating once again that normal space was no barrier to its movement. Captain Kang's image filled the chamber's main display. She looked older than before, marked by the weight of the choices she had made. "Honored Council," she began, "I come to address your concerns about humanity's role in galactic affairs." "You have no right to interfere in Council business," Morteth declared. "I have the right of any citizen to speak in defense of peace," Kang replied calmly. "And the responsibility of someone who carries great power to explain how that power will be used." The chamber fell silent. Every being present understood they were witnessing a moment that would reshape history. The Prometheus will not be returning to Earth, Kang announced. Nor will it submit to Council oversight. Instead, it will continue its mission to protect innocent life throughout the galaxy. Ambassador Chen Wei stood up. Captain, Earth recalls you to home service. I'm sorry, Ambassador, but I can't comply with that order. The technology aboard this ship is too dangerous to exist within any normal governmental structure. Kang paused. Atlas and I have made a decision. What decision? Demanded Korval. To become guardians, not rulers. We will protect worlds that cannot protect themselves. We will prevent any species from dominating others through force. But we will not govern. We will not conquer. We will simply ensure that the strong cannot prey upon the weak. Council leader Morteth's crystalline form glowed with agitation. You appoint yourself judge of galactic civilization? No, Kang replied. We appoint ourselves as its conscience. On the observation deck, Dr. Chen felt a chill. They're not coming home, she whispered. Admiral Park nodded grimly. They can't. That much power would corrupt any government, including ours. Below them, the debate erupted into chaos. Some species demanded that the Prometheus be destroyed. Others argued for cooperation. A few suggested that humanity be expelled from the Council entirely. Through it all, Captain Kang waited patiently. When the noise finally died down, she spoke again. Atlas has located 47 worlds currently under threat from various aggressive species. We will begin liberation operations immediately. Unreported. Unreported. Unreported prom. Unreported prom. Unreported promet. Unreported promet. Unreported promet. You can't just decide to remake galactic politics, protested Ambassador Genkor of the Trade Federation. We're not remaking anything, Kang said. We're simply enforcing the principles the Council claims to support. Peace. Justice. The right of all species to exist without fear. The view screen changed to show Imperial forces withdrawing from a dozen star systems. Peaceful alien populations emerging from hiding. Slave camps being dismantled as their guards fled in terror. This is the result of one ship's actions over the past 3 months, Kang explained. Imagine what we could accomplish with the Council's support, instead of its opposition. Fifth, we. But even as she spoke, Kang knew the Council would never truly accept her. Fear was stronger than gratitude. The assembled species would always see the Prometheus as a threat to their own ambitions. We offer one final gift, she announced. Atlas has developed defensive technologies that can protect Council worlds from any aggressive force. We will share these defenses freely, with one condition. They cannot be used for offensive operations. The chamber buzzed with excitement. Defensive technology from the Prometheus would make any world virtually unconquerable. Why? Asked Morteth suspiciously. What do you gain from this generosity? Peace of mind, Kang replied. When every world can defend itself, no one needs to fear invasion. Wars become pointless. Empires become impossible. As the Council began debating the offer, the Prometheus quietly faded from normal space. It reappeared on the edge of the system, where Admiral Park's sensors barely detected it. She's leaving, Dr. Chen observed. Where will she go? Their answer came from the ship's final transmission. Captain Kang's face appeared one last time on the Council chamber's screens. The galaxy is vast, she said. There are many worlds beyond your borders. Many species that need protection. The Prometheus will find them. She looked directly into the camera, and for a moment it seemed like she was speaking to every human alive. Tell Earth that its children have not forgotten their duty. We carry the best of humanity with us. The refusal to abandon those who need help. The courage to stand against impossible odds. The wisdom to use power in service of others. The transmission ended. The Prometheus vanished into deep space, carrying with it technology that could conquer the galaxy and a crew that had chosen instead to guard it. In the weeks that followed, reports came from the furthest edges of known space. A mysterious ship appearing wherever evil threatened the innocent. Slave raids stopped. Pirate fleets destroyed. Aggressive civilizations suddenly finding their weapons useless against targets under unknown protection. The galaxy began to change. Species that had lived in fear for centuries started to explore again. Trade routes reopened. Art and culture flourished in regions that had known only war. And sometimes, late at night, on distant worlds, children would see a strange ship moving among the stars. Their parents would tell them stories of Earth's lost prototype, returned from exile to keep the universe safe. The age of empires was ending. The age of guardians had begun.